For many years, I've been investigating a story that the US military have been operating in British mental hospitals, carrying out drug experiments in an extension of MK Ultra, but also, I've heard, looking for gifted people, children and adults with a psionic ability. I kind of filed that away. There were some connections to the Rendlesham Forest story, but it didn't go anywhere. Until I saw Ross Coulthard's interview with Jake Barber, where he specifically says that US defense contractors are using people with special ability, psionics, to evoke, control, or fly, or summon the phenomenon. I'm saying the phenomenon, but Jake Barber claimed these people had the ability to fly UFOs. That's very interesting.
There genuinely are people who can actually make a mental, spiritual connection to a technology.
Yes. If you want to connect with it, if you want to have a relationship, and if you want to see stuff flying in the sky, you need to be channeling a loving energy. What is real is the ability to go into something like a meditative state and summon UAP and pilot UAP. We had children from Germany that could harness and actually showcase their ability to perform telekinesis.
And then this other whistleblower came forward. He's called Michael Herrera. He's a US Marine, and he appeared on the Sean Ryan show.
You crest this hill.
Yep.
You look down into the valley.
Yep.
And there's a clearing.
There's a clearing
with a UAP.
Yes.
Just sitting there.
Sitting there,
hovering.
rotating clockwise, yep. And that's when we started seeing trucks come from our left and go onto this platform. And they were up-armored 350s. I know exactly what 350s are. It's not drugs that they're putting in these shipping containers. It says it's humans.
Human trafficking.
Yes. But it was very disheartening to actually get that information relayed to me, because here I'm thinking for years it's drugs and it's a much sinister thing. But it makes sense because they use natural disasters that people are going to be missing anyway.
Yep.
Scoop up people.
What Mr. Herrera claims that he saw was Indonesian people, possibly with special abilities, being bundled into pods to transport them back to the US, maybe to work with the psionics program. But then I was contacted by you. A couple of viewers reached out and told me these stories. This was one from Thomas. He says, my mother worked at the Guard Naval Mental Asylum, which is on the outskirts of Glasgow, between 68 and 93. She had access to every part of the hospital, and around 1971, she told me that there were a few Americans who turned up at the hospital, but nobody knew what they were really there for. The gossip in the hospital was that they were from the CIA and they were running a mind control with mental patients. That's very interesting. Hold that thought. The Gart Naval Mental Hospital near Glasgow. And then Alex contacted me and said his mum also worked at a Scottish mental hospital, this one called Birkwood Castle near Lesmahago in Lanarkshire. Alex says she told me there were weird things going on there with the army who weren't British. Okay. And then a third viewer reached out to me and said he remembered actually being involved in the program himself indirectly. He had a severe brain injury and was taken into one of these mental hospitals. As he needed to stay there for treatment, they needed to remove his civvy clothes and give him a gown. The nurse went to a locker in the hallway and got out a gown that she'd never seen before. When the doctor came in, he said, take that gown off. He's not allowed to wear one of those. So what was really going on? I'm not the first person to investigate this. A Scottish newspaper recently said, Holyrood inquiry to probe historic CIA-backed human brainwashing experiments. And that's actually true. The Scottish Parliament, based in Holyrood House, have started a Scottish child abuse inquiry. One of the places they've been looking into is this mental hospital on the outskirts of Glasgow called Lennox Castle, which sadly burnt down and all records were mysteriously lost. This is what the newspaper said. Many medical files from Lennox Castle Hospital, where some of the experiments are said to have taken place, were destroyed in the fire, I think in 2002. However, the British Journal of Psychiatry archives do contain evidence of patients being selected I like this selected word, special people, at Lennox Castle and also at the Gart Naval Mental Hospital near Glasgow. And people are taking it very seriously. Here's the Scottish Child Abuse Inquiry investigating the abuse of children in care in Scotland. And they specifically have health care establishments, including Ladyfield East, Hannahfield Hall, Ladyfield West, Eskdale House, Royal Scottish National Hospital, and Lennox Castle. These are all places mentioned in this inquiry into possible medical abuse in Scottish hospitals. So my woolly brain is beginning to put this together. Mental patients with special gifts are part of a US military program from all over the world, Indonesia, and in Scotland. Jake Barber claims there's a current psionics program where people with special mental abilities can evoke the phenomenon, and a US Marine whistleblower saw Indonesians with special ability being bundled into a strange craft, possibly to be brought back to the United States. Does this all hang together? Has the US military known for many years that people with special abilities might be useful for their UAP research? So a whole bunch of you are going to say the special children that the US military are using that have telepathy and are able to talk to UFOs, that's just bollocks. Or is it? What I'm going to share with you now is an extract from an upcoming film called The Telepathy Tapes, where autistic children who are nonverbal use telepathy to talk to their parents.
My son said to me, "I can hear thoughts." And I said, "Impossible." And he said to me, "You don't get the kind of gifts that I have if you lie."
Let's please multiply two numbers and see if he gets it.
Okay, what is it?
9 0 0.
Unbelievable.
1.
Maybe shuffle again, Dr. Powell. Oh.
Plus 2.
So he got the plus, too.
I was wondering, because I was looking at the 2 the whole time when I
We
saw
are
it.
far more powerful than we can imagine, and the implications are huge for humanity and the planet.
I've just jumped into that rabbit hole. If you've got more information, please share it with me. My contact details are on my channel's About Me page. Look it up and get in touch. If you have information, please leave a comment below and I will get in touch with you, or drop me an email, because obviously this is a bigger story than I first imagined. It could prove what Jake Barber, the whistleblower, is actually saying about psionics and the ability to control the phenomenon. And it might sadly reveal a hidden abuse from history in countries all over the world, including Scotland. I'm digging, but the truth is still out there.